and thank you, Rajesh, for inviting me. I'm the president of a company called Aries Communication. We are a Silicon Valley company, 2 decades old, totally into IoT. So, I just want to tell you that, like Sushil just mentioned, that there is something called end-to-end SIMs. When machine communicates to a machine, it is a special kind of SIM. And that SIM in the United States, which we sell, is something which can shift to the best possible network available in a given condition. So like in India, if this room has a better connectivity from Vodafone, my SIM will move to Vodafone. And if I go out and Airtel is a better connectivity provider, it will shift to Airtel. So that connectivity problems can be very much resolved if you use our SIM. But while we were working as a SIM provider, we were only giving these SIMs only to machines. So we resulted into, when we are talking about 20 billion plus devices getting connected, how will you manage the connectivity with these devices? Because they're connected devices. So we have a complete connectivity management platform. We created a device management platform. And the whole data that comes from the devices and those sensors, we manage the data and we have a data aggregation layer. Then we allow some solutions that can be developed on top of those platforms and then the analytics. So from providing an end-to-end SIM, which can provide multiple networks at a given time to a machine, we are an end-to-end IoT platform provider. Okay. So this is what we are doing. This is a very unique proposition which we are now working very closely with all the operators. And I'm using the word all the operators in India. And they're using our platform to sell the IoT services in India. Okay. Some of them are using certain components, but more or less all the operators. So if you really want to sell any of the IoT solutions across India, you can do this using our platform. And so while working on all of these and working with the operators, I really want to tell you, a year back when I started this organization in India, okay, I read an analyst report which says that India has 1 trillion units of blood shortage every year. 1 trillion units of blood. And there was a second report that came after a few weeks, which says that in a city called Mumbai, and I'm emphasizing Mumbai, 130,000 units of blood get wasted every year. Okay. So at one part, the India, the volume, as many of our speakers said, that we are here from Silicon Valley not for the margins, but for the volume. Okay. And that was something which really excited us. That at one side you have a 1 trillion unit of blood shortage, and on the other side, the Bombay, which is one of the best cities in the country with the best possible infrastructure available, 130,000 units of blood is wasted. So we have created using IoT, sensors and all those kind of technologies, an end-to-end blood bank monitoring system, which we have already implemented and is running in one of the hospitals and the blood banks in Pune. Okay. And after doing that, suddenly there's more and more people who have started working on it. And as the additional secretary sir said, I personally read the National Health Policy, which was a very big, very good document and showed the vision of the government and the way the government is really working hard to provide services to the citizens. And on section 3.3.2, and if you see on the page number 11, there was a mention that the government of India now really wants to provide good quality blood to people who needs them. Okay. So when we start thinking about the large volume and the large challenges in terms of volume which our country is facing, the only way to handle those kind of things is technology. And we have already implemented a technology which is already running, and that's how we are doing it. And similarly, I have a number of such solutions with such kind of use cases which are already deployed. One of the attendees of the conference spoke about the cold chain monitoring vaccine. We are currently working as a CSR activity with Nextleaf, where we are providing us that embedded SIM, which is shifting to the best possible network, so that we are able to do it in 3 states in India, Orissa, Andhra and Jharkhand. And the remote locations with our SIM, the polio vaccines, the tuberculosis, all the vaccines are going, and that cold chain monitoring is remotely monitored. So if you are talking about 20 billion devices getting connected, You need a connectivity management platform, you need a device management platform, you need the solutions to be applicable, and with a huge amount of data that will be generated, as you clearly see, you will be able to, you have to do some analytics. I personally didn't prepare a presentation because I knew this would be 10 minutes and I have to share all my thoughts during this 10 minutes. In addition to being a president for this company, which is a Silicon Valley platform company, I'm also the chairperson for an institution called IET, Institute of Engineers and Technology. It's a 146-year-old institution in the United Nations. And we started a panel for IoT in India. And I'm the chair for that panel. And we are doing a number of working groups. Healthcare is one of them, standards. But another problem which I wanted to tell you, which I'm sure you all must have heard of. Around 2 years, 3 years back, we did an experiment with around 100 senior citizens, and we made them wear a wearable device. Okay. So it used to monitor the blood pressure, pulse, temperature, many of the parameters. Usually, there are 15 of those parameters. The idea was that how can we reduce the number of calls going to the doctor? How can we reduce the number of visits happening by these people, and how can we have a proactive, preventive care? Okay. With that kind of thought, after the 1 month of those 100 senior citizens, more than 65 years of age, the data came was the number of calls increased, number of the visits increased. Because every night, most of them used to give a call to the doctor saying, I'm using the word in Hindi, kya mera data aa raha hai? Okay. So if you have a sense that somebody is monitoring it, you are really interested in knowing whether your data is going. Is the data correct? Is I okay? So that sense of that I am being monitored, okay, gave them, instead of reducing the calls, increased the calls. So we have realized that there is a major social impact of this disruption that is coming in this country. Okay. And there's a need for seeing how can we socially make people aware that if you are wearing a device, the doctor is seeing it, he relax. You don't have to give him a call and tell him at night that whether my data is coming or not. Okay. As a result, as part of IET, we have started, one working group which is on the social sector, how the society will have to adapt this IoT and how this IoT will have an impact on society. And we have adopted 2 gram panchayats. One, as one of the eminent speakers spoke about, with the optical fiber that has reached to those gram panchayat, and where the citizen service centers are acting as a remote patient monitoring or a telemedicine facility, where there is a facility where you can remotely talk to the doctor. So there, how to educate and how to make people aware that this is a facility available, you should use it, and there is no need for you to go to the hospital for minor things. First, you can do it. And that Gram Panchayat is in the district of Pune, which is, to be honest, I'm saying might be politically correct or incorrect, but it is not something which I'm thinking about, but it's a slightly more advanced village where there is an optical fiber, people are more aware. And the second, we have taken in the eastern UP, where there is no fiber optics available. People are not very well aware of what are the facilities available. And these 2 pilots, we are currently working to see the adoption of IoT will have a social impact. And that is something which we have to start thinking about. And we are talking about still, with the kind of equipments, we are still talking about the urban cities where people will be doing the many of the things which are already available. The second part, and this is the last thing which I will be talking about, is when you think about Internet of Things, it is a combination of 4 industries: a manufacturer of the devices, the connectivity providers, the system integrators, or the solution provider, which is the IT industry, mobile app, and then the industry itself. So for the healthcare industry, you need a doctor who understands the healthcare, or not only the doctor, but many other people who understands the healthcare. But you need a manufacturer of a device. And when you speak about the connectivity, as Sushil also mentioned, it's not only GSM, it's not the same. There's so many kind of technologies that are already available. Which is the best one, how they will be used, how that connectivity, how that protocol. There's so many questions that can be answered. And then the mobile apps. You think it's a mobile app, but it's not. There are thousands of things that get attached to it. So another challenge which a country of 1.2 or 1.3 billion people will face when IoT is coming, which is coming, is a skill set requirement. You won't have one person who will be able to solve and create a solution for the kind of problem that we are facing. And that's what we are working on. And that's another working group which we have created to create a skill set development for IoT. How can we create people who will be able to work on IoT solutions? I'm an author of a book on enterprise IoT, the first book written on this topic along with Bosch. And I personally realized how difficult it is to communicate with a manufacturer because their terminologies are very different from my IT services technologies. Same program, same project. And that's what we have been able to do in that book. And so this is what we have done as part of the skill set development, and we are working on seeing how can we work on the skill set development in India on the IoT front. Last, before I go, while we are still talking about remote patient monitoring and many other things, I have two startups, and this is something which I really want to tell you. There are two startups. One in the United States, Silicon Valley, another one is in India, Bangalore. This United States startup is currently, they have been able to create a sensor which can detect pain, P-A-I-N, pain. Okay. So that sensor put into your body will tell you that this particular area of your spine is having pain. Okay. So there is no need for a doctor to check or an MRI or any kind of test to be done. That sensor will tell you that this is the area where there is a pain. It is getting tested right now and it will be used. Okay. The second experiment or the second pilot which I have personally seen as a demo is a drone. And if that drone runs on top of me, that will be able to provide you the data, what I am thinking. Okay. So the level of technology has gone to this level. We are still working on identifying the standards and the privacy policies. Okay. And we are trying to see how will we do it. But the technology and the pace at which it is moving is much faster. So it was really very scary. I'm honestly using the word scary when somebody said this particular machine running on top of my head will be able to detect what I am thinking. Okay. So this is where we are moving towards, and that's how the technology is moving fast. For an affordable, cheaper solutions, there is a need for many of us to start recognizing that there is a startup revolution that has also started, and how to involve them to create affordable solutions for our part of the world. Thank you.